and last week, Kenny, and I'm still impressed when I look at yours, man. I love the pose. It looks
I
great.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. But honestly, I'm trying to get to where you are with the way you convey that heaviness, that weight to your textures. That's fantastic. It even though I know that it's being done in gouache, it feels like oil to me.
It feels thick,
Yeah, yeah.
thick.
It definitely like has that oil painting, that classic touch that I've always like admired in the way you render your work.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Look, I think, that sometimes becomes my default too. I mean, it sometimes I find it hard to go lighter when I want to. So it becomes my own, um, how would you say, my own Achilles heel sometimes. Because I got to then try and push beyond it at times as well. So, but yeah, I appreciate. I love your fiery, destructive background. His mid battle scene. It's
Thank you.
very cinematic, very cool.
Well,
It's very Joe Ryan.
yes, indeed. The incomparable Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan.
Welcome, everyone joining in on the stream. If you're on the East Coast, good evening and
Mm,
happy Friday. If you're down under, good morning and happy Saturday. As always, we're here with our weekly live stream and our current drawing challenge of the Masters of the Universe. Here we are up to Man at Arms, and I think we're just about on the tail end
we
of
are.
Man at Arms, but we're barely cracking the first row of characters, right?
We will get there.
Yeah,
We will
I
get
mean,
there.
ideally, if you're just joining us for the first time and you want a little context regarding the art challenge, the whole basis of the challenge is to us, my namely myself and Will,
Yes.
to force ourselves outside of our comfort zones, respectively, and illustrate these characters that are typically depicted in one way in popular culture, and mainly like the way we remember them as action figures and such,
Mm.
and depict them in a different light, like how we talked about Merman being kind of a goofball and being
Yeah.
like the doofy henchman, but then like we rendered Merman to feel like a formidable antagonist, right? To feel monstrous, right?
Mildly mentally unstable. Mildly.
Right? But and for me, the Masters of the Universe IP this is the first time I'm ever illustrating these characters.
Right.
So like this is a first, first impressions for you guys in the audience. It's definitely a first for me, and I'm having a blast because with each one, I'm trying to do something a little different. For most of you that are familiar with my work, you guys know that I love putting a lot of motion in my stills. It's something that I grew up loving in comics, so that'll always be a constant element in my composition, right? But we want to try and do things outside of our comfort zone a bit. Play with perspective, with like how I mentioned with Will. Like Will conveys a lot of weight in the way he renders his artwork. And as we work through these, I'm learning a lot by just watching Will's process, right? So
Makes two of
it's
us.
yeah, it's the osmosis, right? It's the osmosis that as illustrators we pick up by working around other illustrators. So hopefully you guys
Yes.
at home are feeding off of the same osmosis and drawing along with us, or at least picking up some tips.
So it's
Andrew, welcome.
yes, welcome Andrew. Here we are.
And Andrew is hanging out with us this evening. Well, this morning, depending on time zone. So, Will, what are you going to be doing today?
So today I'm just going to try and just power on and get as much done as I can.
Right.
And sort of not try to get caught noodling, which is the term the term
The noodle
that haunts me. So I'm gonna try and today's mission. I'm just gonna try and, if I can, try and get the majority of our body area done.
Right.
And I feel once some of this detailed mechanics work is done, I think the body itself will fly pretty quickly. It was like No Man. Once I got past the armor, things seem to flow a bit better. Which is like most things. Like it's much like when you're doing portrait painting. Once you get past the big landmarks of the face, you can get it done very quickly. So that's the plan today. What about you?
Today, I think I'm gonna go a bit heavier with some of these lighter values, right?
Yep.
So that we can drop a little more contrast into the droids on the ground, right? But I don't want to go too heavy, right? Because I'm still going to drop a little bit of ink in this, apply by brush.
Yep.
And intensify my fiery ambiance in the back there. And sort of like eyeball and map out where I'm going to drop my heavy shadows in the front, right? Because I want a nice, decent shadow, sort of like flowing this way into the leg that's thrown forward.
Yeah.
Right. So that we get a nice sort of like glare in the blade here.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be good.
It's gonna give it a few more.
I just ask: is your sword above his leg or is it in front of his leg?
It is. It would be above the leg, right? Because
are you doing a drop shadow anyway?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do a very slight drop shadow because it's gonna fade out as it gets closer to the edge of the thigh.
Yes,
because we still have that light source pushing forward, right? So we're gonna get a little bit of it here, and this is the fun part.
Yeah, this is the good stuff.
Yep. So I'm just gonna get my brushes ready here. Got my water going. My sponge is wet. So we are ready to go.
Ready to roll. And obviously too, we've mentioned this a few times. Well, not so obvious. So I'm mentioning it again. Feel free to draw along with us. We'd love that. And you can also post your final images in the chat, or alternatively, on the Artists of the Universe Facebook site. You can post your images up there. It's an open to all artist site or appreciators of art site. You can join everyone on there and in the community and post your things. That's what it's for.
Indeed.
Ask questions, learn. We're all happy to share.
Or just join in on the nonsense.
Yes, we're good.
These tend to go left very quickly.
Yeah, we redline on the stupid pretty quick. Yeah. So tell me what's happening in the art world for you this week, Kenny.
This week. Well, I'm just coming off of a convention weekend.
Yes, how did that go? Tell us all about that.
Which was great show, great show. Year 3, small convention, right? Like I mentioned, it was a family owned and operated show.
Yeah.
Very successful. Got some great commissions in. I posted a few of them to my Instagram. The handles are at the bottom of the screen, so you can check those out. Didn't get a chance to post everything, right? Because just haven't had the time, right? So coming off of the con, I had to bring some commissions home, some covers, right? That which is always the mark of a good show, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Just means that you were so busy, you had to bring some stuff home with you. Yvette's joining us. Welcome, Yvette.
Here for the silly stuff. Thanks, Yvette.
Yes. Join us.
Be one with us.
Yes. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Right. So I got some nice sketch cover commissions I got to bang out, and let's see, in the art world, sketch cards in progress.
Yeah,
I'm working on I think it's my sixth set of Marvel Premiere.
that's awesome,
Right?
man. Well done.
Got that going on, and I'm working on my very first set for Dynamite for the Puppet Master series.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's going on. And tomorrow I'm going to be hosting another workshop. So if you guys are in the Miami area, I will be hosting a workshop in the Art Shack in Doral, themed after Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. So that will
Nice.
be the theme of the workshop. Yes,
Very cool.
the Burton stuff is popular.
Yeah, it's an easy sell, isn't it?
Oh
when
yeah,
you're doing that stuff. Yeah, everyone loves that stuff.
For Halloween, or rather around Halloween, we did what was it? I think it was Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
It was a Beetlejuice themed workshop. So I did Beetlejuice, like the cartoon version from the 90s.
Oh yeah, yes I do. Yeah.
I did Beetlejuice, and for the second character, I let the attendees like pick what we do as a follow up, and we did Jack Skellington from the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Very cool.
It's fun, very relaxed workshop, and then I always give something away. Yeah. I always raffle off a bunch of stuff at the end of the workshop. The hosts at the Art Shack will always prepare little gift bags and little giveaways, right, for all of the attendees.
Yeah.
But as an added bonus, I like to give away like the artwork that I do together with the group. And I'll be giving away like copies of my art book. I got some artist prints that I'll be giving away as well as a raffle, and copies of Tragedy the manga, right? Which is a manga that I did at the end of last year. So that'll be up for grabs tomorrow as well. So if you guys are in the Doral area in Miami, come hang out with us. Come join us. I think there's still some spots left.
Nice. Great job, man. I can't wait to see this Puppet Master stuff. That'll be interesting.
Ooh, yes. So my approach with the Puppet Master stuff is going to be very, very minimal, right?
Yeah.
Simply because the card itself isn't like a super heavy card stock, right?
Yeah.
It's not like my traditional, I think my card stock is like 50 points, like right. It's heavy, right? And it's heavy enough to to really hold some wet media.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be very minimal with the Puppet Master stuff, but I'm going to use a lot of like muted tones and grays and blacks, so it feels pulpy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With just a minimal amount of color.
Give it that nice sort of heavy brushstroke look.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like really like lean into how like dark and murky a lot of 80s horror movies were.
Yeah, very grimy.
Yes. I think my favorite puppet was the one with the really small head but the enormous hands.
Yeah. So many jokes, but look how much I've improved, Kenny. I could have said something, but I said nothing. See that? I'm trying to evolve.
Right? Life's about growth, ladies and gentlemen. It's about growth.
Exactly.
For every IP that I work on, I like to do a little research, right? It's important that you do your homework. So I rewatched the first 3 Puppet Master movies.
Oh yeah, they're interesting to rewatch, aren't
They truly are. Truly are. And, you
yeah,
know, that it, watching them now as an adult, they feel a lot less scary,
yeah,
and they feel a lot funnier now,
yeah, yeah,
right? Like you can tell that the writers had a bit of a sense of humor when they
yeah,
were dreaming up the kills for for some of the victims, right?
yes, yeah,
And they lean into a lot of the horror movie trope. You know how in every horror movie there's always a couple that is engaging in adult activities.
yes.
There's
Well,
always one.
you know they're gonna die because they do that.
And they typically get it the worst because they're like,
Yeah,
for lack of a better phrase, caught with their pants down.
yeah. Don't break the moral code in a horror movie. That's the rules, isn't it?
you know, there's always the cynic,
Yes.
right? This
The
is the
joke, the
cynic
jokester.
character.
Is the jokester. Playing
Yeah.
pranks. Yeah.
There's always the obviously the damsel in distress,
Yes.
the girl that's ultimately going to survive,
The final
right?
girl. Yep.
Right there you go. She's the final girl, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy who plays the hero, quote unquote.
Yes. Who he's not going to make it either.
Yeah.
Sometimes he pays the ultimate sacrifice.
True.
Yeah.
But all in all, man, it was interesting to watch. It was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's cool. It'd be interesting to see what kids today think of it when they watch it. Like, we have a nostalgic lens, I guess, too, when we look back at it. Like watching the original Chucky,
True.
it's we look at it and go, oh, like it's it was terrifying when you're a kid, but
Absolutely.
now you watch it for the nostalgic bend on it all,
Yeah, and it's like it's funny as an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 minutes in, and it's already cool.
Yes. You see, I see it the other way a bit. Is that I'm always left, but I try so hard to hold it together all day long.
You got to give Will credit. He tries.
That's right. So for me, it was 10 minutes holding it together, and then I just went back to default again.
Oh man, I think the horror films that I enjoy the most are the Friday the 13th films and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I think those have the most memeable material.
Yeah,
right?
especially Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
like
he was a troll.
He's a walking catchphrase, and he knew it. Yeah,
100%. And I think the most outstanding kill in my opinion. Well, he had some classics, right? Like the blood geyser from number 1.
Yeah, with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, like that's epic. And when you look at the behind the scenes stuff on how they executed that scene, very impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Very impressive stuff. But I think the funniest kill, the absolutely funniest kill, is the one where he kills the girl in a roach motel. where he chases her singing La Cucaracha.
Yes. Wait, is that the one where she was where she became an actual insect, and then he crushed her in the Chinese food box? Yeah.
And he said they check in, but they don't check out.
That's it.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Or the other one where I think it was in part 1 or 2 where the girl was on the phone with her boyfriend
Yeah,
and Freddie sticks his tongue out of the receiver
that's the
and licks his
first one.
face. That's the
Yeah, that's
first
the
one,
first
right?
one. Yeah, the big rubber tongue that comes out, and he
Oh
says,
man.
I'm your boyfriend now." He just announces it. He just
You know?
I'm your boyfriend now. That's it, because I'm in your phone.
Oh man. Those were very, very creative like movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The lore behind the movies were good.
Yes.
Like it was a nice little setup. But
Yes.
I think the kills is what like it's what you go to the movies for.
Right. Exactly. Slashes, So,
Yeah.
so fun. Andrew says those He-Man folks love the furry underpants.
Oh,
You know,
that's been
Drew,
that's that's been the topic of conversation since we started
yes.
this couch. All right.
We've always questioned the choices. The choice.
Yes.
Why the and where are these animals? I never see them. Like, are they all extinct because they all got like hunted and scun? Like, where?
Yeah, they got turned into underoos. They got
maybe, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they wear them. It's like this big, like, look what I've got. I've got the last of the the black Eternian creature panther, and I'm wearing it as underwear.
It's like in a world of
In a world.
sorcery and super science, they couldn't come up with pants.
Yeah, nothing synthetic And here's the thing, like, these dudes are in battle. I was just thinking this the other day. They're in battle all the time. You don't want to protect that area. Like, you don't want to.
Right.
Well, that's
Like,
like you've got guys running with tridents with like gauntlets with spikes on them. You don't want to protect the danger zone.
The cash and prizes,
You know,
the twig and berries. We're not protecting those.
I'd be concerned about the power sword. I mean, it's just where do you like? And there's things with like big teeth and I don't know, man. They're worried about their knees. I get it. As a man that's getting older, I worry about my knees too. He's got the big knee pad, but running in there with just like the furry undies, like I just think.
I mean,
maybe that's off-putting.
Let's consider He-Man, for example, right?
Right, nearly nude.
I don't think he's not so I don't think he's not so He-Man. I don't think there's a whole lot of cushion with the fuzzy loincloth as he's riding Battle Cat. You know what I
mean? That's right. That's right.
He'd be talking in falsetto if this were like real life. I'm just saying.
But to be fair too, I don't know the structure of the inside of these furry underwear. Like if there's like a pocket or a pouch or something built in to help.
True.
To help, because there's going to be a lot of movement. Like you think of the mechanics happening there. Like, I don't know, it concerns me.
And what about the battle, right? Like,
yeah,
you're in a heated battle. You're sweating. You're rolling around. Things are gonna get a little uncomfortable. I'm just saying.
Right? And
Duncan over here, he's got his green tight.
Yeah, that's going to be hot too. Like, imagine getting that off at the end of the day. Jesus. It'll be like the inside of a fake leg. Like, it'd be terrible.
Oh man,
terrible.
It's like
and the underwear. Oh,
it's got to be like peeling the top of the Tupperware off of like some potato salad from a week ago.
That real clammy. But can you imagine his relief, like when you get it off, like, oh, thank God. The outward breathe out. Oh, thank God.
With the steam?
The steam. Just sitting on the end of the bed, just relieved. Thank God.
This is why the challenge is going to take so long. This is why. This is why we're gonna spend more time like picking apart the designs and stuff that we're painting, and less painting.
I reckon he'd need a help with it too. Like, I mean, that wouldn't be an easy. Like, that's not a job you want. Orko, get over here and get my shoehorn and get the shoehorn and the pliers to help get this off. Like,
not the shoehorn.
Get the crowbar or something to get under. Because where's the joint? It only joins up to his neck. Like, I don't know what's happening in the feet area, but I don't think you'd peel upwards. You wouldn't peel upwards.
I mean, where's the zipper?
I just assumed it was just like a stretchy one piece, like snap.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
That
because it looks like it connects into the hands and everything, so it's like
it goes right over. It's like one big old thing.
It's all in the same ozone. It's like there's no.
It's all trapped. It's all trapped in there.
It's all.
It's all.
Imagine the farmer's tan like everywhere but on his face.
And does it pool? Does it pool at the bottom of his feet? God.
Like socks, do you have to like tug at it down the
that's right. What? Does it start to slip? Does it slip a bit? He's got to snap it into place every now and then. Thanks, Andrew. Andrew. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yes.
You put those things, you plant those things into people with visual minds, it destroys us.
You are the reason why this derailed very quickly.
Because I thought as a kid he had green skin. I just assumed he had green skin. But then when I obviously got older, I looked at it, I go, no, there's no green skin. He's got a green bodysuit.
Yeah.
But
then it's like, I don't know. I don't think they thought it through. They didn't think it through.
Yeah, just a green paint. Let's paint it. But then I thought, he's not a green human, so let's just keep him skin tone on the face. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What does that even mean?
I didn't think it through, I tell you. It was like, look, it's a toy. No one's going to ask questions.
No one's going to care in 5 years.
No one's going to ask questions.
Just make money.
Lo and behold, those kids that wouldn't ask questions grew up
because we were asking questions.
Yeah, exactly.
It was my mum and dad that didn't care. They weren't asking questions. They're like, whatever. No. The dude's green. Let's just move on.
He's green body, flesh face. He's good.
Yeah. Shut up and eat your dinner.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Go play with your toys.
That's it.
Yeah, it's concerning. But I mean, that's going to come up more and more. Like when we get to other characters, like look at Whiplash. He's a lizard dude wearing undies. Like,
yeah.
Like when he gets up in the morning, does he go? I need to cover my lizard parts with some other creature. Like. Like the internal conversation just fascinates me. Like,
yes, it's like when I tell people about the Office unicorn, right? And I show them what Eugene looks like. And Eugene is, for those of you that don't know, the Office unicorn is a bi-monthly comic strip that I illustrate about a actual unicorn that works in an office, right?
Yes.
So Eugene
could happen.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
Right. So Eugene wears nothing but a tie and some tidy whities, right? Because he works in an office, and it would be rude for his unicorn parts to be just flailing about, right?
And you got to have a tie, like that.
Because
etiquette.
It's an office setting, right? And it would
kids listening at home, this is how you become successful. You dress appropriately, right?
Yeah, you got to dress for the occasion.
You want to be the manager, you dress as the manager. Like that's the way it is. Right?
You dress for the job you want, not the one
correct.
you have.
Exactly. He's got his Tony Robbins tapes on the way to work. Like, that's the office unicorn.
So I always get the question of, why is he wearing underwear? Like, do you go to the office, Commando?
Yeah, that's right.
You got to wear underwear. You know,
Correct.
he doesn't want to be rude, right?
No.
And then the other question I get is, how is he holding the coffee cup if he doesn't have thumbs? I was like, he's a unicorn. It's part of the magic.
He's magical, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, it's part of the magic. So the Office Unicorn, ladies and gentlemen, on akidindacomic.com, akidandAcomic.com. If you head over to akidindacomic.com, it's like subscription based, and yeah, it's super cheap. It releases bi-monthly, and we just got signed on for season 2 for the Office Unicorn, which is a lot of fun. So we're gonna have a lot of that office nonsensical hijinks and dredge from office settings in the strip. So it's a lot of fun. I hope you guys check it out.
I'm putting it in the chats right now.
Yes, akidindacomic.com. We're actually about to drop in Comixology and in another platform now. A Kid in the Comic. That cool. Says he's got to be professional. Absolutely. You know,
right. A vet gets it.
He's got to be professional. You know, so he's got to, at the very least, wear a tie.
At least.
At least. That's tidy white.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that he stands in front of the mirror and goes, "This is enough. This will do."
It's fine.
This will get me through the day.
It's as far as I'm going.
There we go. So the link is on the screen.
Yes. Thank you.
And there's lots of other comics there too, isn't there?
Well, yeah. There's a lot of they're all creator-owned comics, which is fantastic.
Nice.
So you got a lot of indie guys on there. Our boy Robert Powers is on there. Def Shogun with Penguino's Revenge. We got guys that are industry guys, like, you know, guys that have done stuff for Marvel, DC with their own creator-owned IPs. You know, dropping in a Kid in a Comic as like their individual serials, like how we used to get in the paper, right?
Yep.
And there's also little activities as well, mazes and puzzles and such. So it's really, really good. It's a really good piece of material for the whole family. Like, you know, my kids.
It's like the Sunday Funnies.
It's just like the Sunday Funnies. Only the whole paper is all comics.
Nice one.
Great stuff.
So for those who are aspiring professionals, how do they become part of the Kinder Comic? Do they have to submit or apply, or how does it work?
Well, I believe they can talk to John Jay. They talk to John Jay, and you know, he because he's the editor-in-chief of A Kid in a Comic, and you know, he makes those final decisions. Everyone that popped into the project was personally solicited by John.
I remember. Right? I remember when he did that.
Everyone was personally solicited by John. You know, that John reached out to not just artists that he knew, but artists that he's also gotten work from.
Yes.
So, like, he's a big art supporter. He's a big comic supporter. So everyone that, you know, he solicited for contributions to A Kid in a Comic, he is a fan of. Right?
Yeah, that's cool.
And you know, it's full of great content and material.
And John Jay's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yes, he's super good guy. And you know, the proceeds go to an organization. I'm blanking on the name of the organization, but the organization hopes to provide like some financial support to comic creators that can't draw anymore. So it's like a retirement fund.
Right.
You know,
Are you talking about? Oh, now I can't remember it. I'm on the actual site now. I'm just going to see if I can find it.
yeah.
But because there is no health insurance and things like that for
Uh,
comic creators,
That's
the
right.
Hero Initiative, is that it?
The Hero Initiative.
Yeah.
Yes. So when John told me about it, I was 100% on board.
Yeah.
100% on board.
What a great cause.
Absolutely.
And they've done a lot for those guys. Like I remember hearing about some of them that were suffering health issues and had no savings, and
yeah, man.
and they were able to help them with their eye problems. Or yeah, it was good. I think it's a great cause.
It's a fantastic cause. I mean, you know, who thinks that far ahead? You know,
Yeah.
when they're breaking into the business, and you think that you have a little bit of job security when it comes to the kind of work that you do, and then the whole economy sort of like shifts into a
Yep.
different direction, and now a lot of these publishers are beginning to outsource a little more.
Right.
So a lot of the American guys aren't getting the same kind of work that they're used to getting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Very hard
that
to do that.
that and the tastes change, right? The artistic tastes sort of
Right.
like evolve.
Yeah.
Right? Because once upon a time, the staple was uh the Kirby look, the
Yes.
the John Byrne look, right?
Yeah.
Perez's look for tech.
The house style. Yeah.
Yes, the house style. Yes. And then then we got the Renegades, the formed image, and
Yes.
then everything had enormous shoulder pads and overabundance of pouches.
And we had that a bit too with artists like Norm Brayfogle, who I love Norm's stuff.
True.
But he was never part of them, but he was kind of there before they started doing that. Like I remember reading his stuff before I read McFarlane, or Liefeld.
Yeah.
Norm Brayfogle was doing those detective comics with the giant capes and the stylized eyes and the real dynamic sort of scenes. And he ended up doing Archie, I think, before he passed, didn't he?
Yeah. Or like the Eisner stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
With
yes. The Spirit.
With the Spirit, yes.
Yeah. Love
like
Will
that,
Eisner stuff. Yeah.
That was like the status quo. That was the style that everyone would try and emulate, and it was like that was the standard that would define whether or not you were ready for that kind of medium.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But things evolve, things change, and it's in every creative field's best interest to kind of roll with it,
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway, that's my opinion.
I agree. You got to keep changing, but I think too, you want to do that for yourself. Like, I mean, you don't want to be the same cookie cutter.
Right.
Like that's going to drive you crazy.
100%. 100%.
Then you end up bumbling on a live stream on a Friday night.
with but you have to, right? Like I tell all of my kids, that they should do things outside of their comfort zone. They should, expand outside of, their little bubbles, right? So that,
Right.
They test themselves And you know, you can always go back to what you feel comfortable doing,
Right.
but you want to test yourself with things that you aren't comfortable doing. Because
Well, you just keep building, don't you? You keep building the tool belt, and
right.
If you want to do like you did like if you want to swip over and do the manga style, do that. If you want to do the superhero comic book style, do that. You know.
That's right. That's right.
Now you're learning a new style. I mean, you're a classic example of how to evolve and expand. You know.
You want to be all things to all people.
Yes.
That was one of the foremost things my father taught me as a kid. You want to be all things to all people. Don't box yourself in or pigeonhole yourself.
Right.
You know.
Andy Calderon for president. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no.
My people.
Right. and I mean, obviously, it's good advice from an entrepreneurial perspective.
Yeah.
But I like the challenge of trying something new and seeing
right.
You know, and if I can't nail it in that first try, you know, now I take it as a personal challenge to get it into to try it until I get it.
It got personal. Like, hey, what?
Exactly.
The gauntlet goes onto the ground. What?
Exactly.
You will not win. Nay, I say, nay.
To thee, I say nay.
Nay.
I'm telling you. And thus is like, you know, an attitude that I've kept for a really, really long time. You know, this Motu 52 challenge. I wouldn't have tried this like when I was a teenager. Yeah. I've been too intimidated.
I'm still intimidated.
I've been too intimidated. But now, as an adult, as a professional, like in the business, like I'm like, hell yeah, let's
do it.
Let's do it. Let's try it. You know, what could it hurt?
Oh, it's gonna hurt.
And you know, you guys are seeing it live on stream, so you know you've seen me like make mistakes, correct them, mask them as best as possible.
Yep.
You know, we got Will, the master noodle over there. You know, but the noodling pays off.
It's on the business
you know what I mean? The master
noodle.
You know, but the noodling pays off, and honestly, I'm gonna start noodling a little bit more in certain areas just so I can like develop that same sense of weight to how I render stuff. You know,
the thickness.
The thickness. This is and this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. You want to observe how other artists render their work. You'll pick things up and add them to your toolbox, and you know you can apply that immediately to how you render your work. You know, some things will, you know, expedite a process. Other things will just kind of make your stuff look better.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. I was watching a great video with Greg Staples the other day on David Finch.
Yep,
I learned a lot. He's just such he had a different process altogether that I do, but he works in acrylic.
Okay.
You just say, oh, there's one little snippet I'll take that I'll try, you know, and sometimes it's that one golden thread that leads you down a pathway that you've never been before, and you'll uncover a whole bunch of different stuff, you know. But you got to start with you got to recognize that thread's there, I guess, is probably the big thing,
right?
Rather than saying I can't ever do that,
right?
Because intrinsically we all can do it. It just depends behaviorally whether we're teachable in that area.
Okay, I can see that.
It's been my experience as a teacher, is I can teach anyone to paint and draw, but it's whether they behaviorally can be taught. You know, whether that concludes adults as well, like whether you are open to the learning and if you've developed the resilience and the patience and the focus, all behavioral traits to get through it. And you may not paint like Kenny, you may not paint like me, you may not paint like Frazetta, but you'll paint like you.
Yeah.
and you'll achieve the best that you can be.
G.I. Joe.
Greatest American hero. Go Joe! Oh, I love that Go Joe at the end.
So, Will, quick question: do you think
Yes.
that because you said something very interesting that I want to pick your brain about?
Right.
You said if the individual is teachable.
Yes.
In that regard, so would you elaborate on or like say an example of an individual that hasn't been teachable? Like you
Sure.
tried to teach them something and they just weren't receptive.
So I guess, I mean, if I start with a classic example that a kid will say to me in a classroom, right? When they'll say, I can't draw stick figures.
Right.
Right. If I had $1 for every time I heard that as a teacher, I wouldn't be out playing music on the street corners every afternoon.
Same.
Right. So
Same.
trying to sing. Yeah. So the thing is, you know that kid didn't come up with that phrase. Like you know that they've heard that, and that's, like we've gone from we go from a point as children where you put a little kid at the table with some markers or pencils, and they just play. They have fun. They draw whatever you want to draw.
Right.
They'll draw cars, dragons. It doesn't matter. We go from that to this point where they have this belief system that they can't. I can't do that. I can't do that. And somewhere along the line, that's built into us to either teach it to our children or we teach it to ourselves, the doubt or the lack of creativity. And what I'm getting at, I suppose, is that one of the unteachable moments is that the programming blocks our focus. And whether you are programmed ancestrally or whether you are programmed by your environment, so you allow those programs to block you. Now, I did not start as a natural artist. Like, I mean, I don't have a photographic memory. I mean, that's pretty clear.
Really? Like you didn't like it's not like a natural thing for you?
No, I had to work very hard at it over years. So yes, I always loved drawing, right? And I was very lucky in the sense that my mum could draw and my dad could draw, even though he could only draw people when they face left. That was his thing. He's on draw it, but they got to face left.
He was the profile guy.
He was the profile guy. So so I was lucky that way in that it was encouraged. Like, yep, you want to draw, we'll get you some stuff, and you can go draw. Right. But there's plenty of families that perhaps don't know that hidden curriculum to creativity. The stuff that I was allowed to see. So they have that idea that it's this mystical gift that has been ordained at some point to some and not others. Like, sure, there are certain personality traits that help you. Like, if you can be patient, if you can calm yourself, if you can focus, if you can use your fine motor skills with your fingers, all of these things are going to be helpful for sure. If you can spatially understand something when you look at anything, for me as an artist that came from the portrait world, understanding space and the relative space to other things is the big difference between a portrait looking like the person or looking like some random sort of nuclear meltdown accident, so it's all of those things are traits that you develop. And for me, I had to work at that. I had to work at, because I'm a super easily distracted person. Okay. And so I have to focus. I have to learn. I've learned how to block things out and to be able to draw, and also to be able to draw like now, like on the spot, or in front of a class of 15-year-olds. All of those things are things I had to develop at. And so, it's all those things are teachable, but you've got to be willing to fight the good fight if you want them, And then there was many people I went to school with and university with that were way better. They outclassed me in terms of drawing by miles, and Just the difference was that I just kept getting back in the saddle. I just kept getting back in the saddle. Like that didn't work. I'll figure it out.
Right.
Rather than saying, oh, well, I'll just go on to other things, which is fine. There's no harm or fault in that. But for me, I was dogged with it. I just like a mongrel with a bone. I just had to go back in, and I wasn't going to let it beat me. I intrinsically had something that drove me to be better, and it still does.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, cool. Now I want to. What's next? Like this Motu 52 thing. If I was comfortable sitting still, I wouldn't have accepted or created the challenge with you. I would have gone, nah, I'm good. I've done it. I'll move on.
Right.
But it's what's next. So when I teach art, especially to adults, it's the behavioral things I start with first, because sometimes even if you are good at art, like if you come to the table saying, look, this is how I figured it out, sometimes they're as hard to teach because they are programmed with their own blockages of, no, this is how I do it. So they become unteachable again. It's like that. It's that famous Buddhist quote of being open to everything but connected to nothing. And that will open you to greater learning and channeling in art. And the greater I learn about where all this stuff comes from, where the imagination generates from, it just helps me. It just helps me to calm myself, to tap into what I need to do. And and if something's not working out, I push for as far as I can, or I start it again. So I can't let things beat me not because of ego or pride, but because I need to learn how to do that bit. I want to learn that. It's not okay that it just drifts past me and I just let it go. I have to learn it. Right? There's a purpose for it. So when people become unteachable, it's for those reasons. It's cultural. It's sometimes it's that ancestral, like our parents or grandparents have said it. Sometimes it's something we developed as our own, blockages. I can't do it, or I'm intimidated, or whatever it might be. So, like I said, I can teach anyone to draw, but can you teach yourself how to be taught?
Okay, I like that. That's a good way of putting it. I've encountered a couple kids that are like that.
Yeah.
Right. I've encountered some adults that are like that.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
So because I didn't come up artistically in the traditional sense.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of my knowledge comes from just sitting in my room as a kid and just experimenting.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I come across someone that says that they can't do something, right? I should and I demonstrate a technique for them that takes me all but 30 seconds.
Right.
It's like you can see it in their face, like, oh, that wasn't so difficult. What I mean? Like, like I just pulled the curtain back, and the mystique of the difficulty is gone.
Yes.
But they still sort of like this. They're still a little apprehensive.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone that 15% of what we do, ladies and gentlemen, is actual talent. 15% of it.
That's very specific.
15% of it is actual talent because like all right. So as a teacher, right? I'm pretty sure that you have like your definition of what actual talent is, right? And that's how an individual will process information and immediately apply it. It's like the speed at which they can apply something new.
Yeah.
Right? Like understand, process, and apply. Right? 15% of it is actual talent. The rest of it is pure repetition and muscle memory.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That if you're not applying what you learned over and over again, it's you know, it's useless. Like you haven't, you know, it's not
Yeah.
gonna stay with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then psychologically, you're like, oh, you know, this was this. I don't have the talent for this, and you're cutting yourself off at the knees. You know,
Right.
like you got to think about it like as if you were riding a bike or learning to tie your shoes. We
Yeah.
all suck at something in the very beginning,
Yeah.
but it's that repetition that builds the speed, that builds the accuracy, that builds that problem solving like muscle, that understanding, right, of like, you know, space and depth and, you know,
Right.
perspective and all that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That like I'm with each one of these, I'm learning something.
Yep. Well, we
You
both
know,
are. I mean, none of us are cookie cutting our way through this.
true,
We're trying to figure it out as we go.
true,
The difference is, I suppose, that, you know, we have these tool belts that we keep reapplying. You know, I was talking to my students yesterday about understanding tone, and I said, if you're
right,
going to learn anything, this is one of the most important lessons you'll be able to reapply over and over and over again,
right,
because you use it over and over, like the terminator line, the reflected light, you know, the light
mm-hmm.
source. You know, I've used that probably about 13 or 14 times already today, just going over and
Mm-hmm.
over areas and reapplying it. So it becomes something that, you know, you add to that tool belt, and that, you know, that's when you can then move on. You go, right, I know that part. I can repeat that through it to get the effect I want. But what's next? You know, like how do I create an effect of furry underpants, or or a hessian rug, or compare
Right.
that to steel? How do I use the texture of that to make the same effect? Or like you're doing now with the explosions in the background, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's how do I get that like light source glaring on the back of Man at Arms, or on the steel? So it's you kind of move on. You go, right, I can do that part, and that's what people like. Oh, look at that! I can see the light. That looks nice. The armor looks nice, but you're already one ahead, thinking, right now, what's next for me? I've got that bit, and now I'm trying to battle through and figure this next bit out. You know.
Right.
I remember hearing an interview with Rob Liefeld once, and he was saying that when he was at school, his teacher kept saying to him, "Draw this bowl of fruit," and he goes, "I know how to do that because I'm trying to deal in sequentials." You
Mm-hmm.
know, like for him, he'd already moved on. You know, like if you
Right.
do that part, he's moving on. That's the key. Just keep moving on.
That and yep, I agree completely. That a few years ago, I wouldn't touch paint. I wouldn't touch watercolor. I wouldn't touch gouache. I was
Yeah,
strictly a marker colored pencil guy,
yeah,
you know. And even before then, you know, I wouldn't do color in most of my pieces unless I was specifically asked to, you
yeah,
know. And when it came to those points, it was like Copic markers and maybe some Pantones or something, you know, depending on the desired
yes,
effect, you
yeah,
know. But you know, you got to expand your horizons and get like all these different, because there's so many different effects and that you can on the material, right? And you kind of like
right,
cut yourself off at the knees, you know, when you feel like, oh, I can't do that, or you know, this is too difficult or something,
right,
right?
yeah,
But how would you know? You wouldn't try. You know what I mean? Like I taught myself digital in a month, and I did it over the pandemic,
yeah,
right? And it's through my experience with learning digital that I can confidently say that if you're proficient on paper, you can do digital. You just
yeah,
need to, you know, you just need to get over that learning curve of
right,
where your tools are.
yes, yeah.
But you can 100% do digital. You know what I mean? If you're proficient
Just
on
got to
paper,
learn the medium. That's all.
that's it.
Learn the medium.
That's
It's
it.
just time.
You
time.
And you said the key phrase right there, learning the medium. You got to treat it like it's just another medium that you
Yep.
have on the shelf, like paint or pencils and so forth. You know, learning the medium.
Figure it out.
That's it. This is all problem solving. One of the teachers that I work with, right? She's also a child psychologist, right, from Venezuela,
Right.
right? So every so often, I'll kind of she's a young lady. I'll pull her off to the side and I'll teach her something about
Yep.
cartooning because she works with a lot of the younger kids. So like the 9 and younger crowd,
Yep.
right? That we get at the studio. So you know, she knows how to talk to them. She knows how to like kind of gauge certain attitudes and outbursts and all that. Like she knows how to approach them from that standpoint, and that's
Yes.
something that like I completely admire, right? Because
Yes.
she's able
Yeah.
to like look at things, from that perspective. But
Yeah.
then when it comes to like art, she knows very little. So like it's always refreshing to see an adult who's receptive to that and
Right.
is open to learning that and incorporating something new into how they work with children.
Yes.
Lance is with us. Welcome, Lance. Welcome to the party. You know
Join
what I mean?
the yeah, I totally agree. I have integration aids in my classrooms as well. And funny enough, they're really receptive to art. They really want to learn the how it all goes together. But and I couldn't do the teaching in that classroom with that some of those kids with their needs without them. Their skill set for me is essential. You know, um, so it's a symbiotic sort of relationship in a way.
Absolutely. And there is an air of therapy to what
Yeah,
to what to what we do in art, right?
yeah,
There's an element of therapeutic serenity in
yes,
this that I encouraged her to start carrying a little sketchbook,
yep,
and she ordered some pencils that I recommended she get just so that she can just kind of walk around and just like illustrate from life, little
right,
gestures, because all of it is messages at the end of the day, right? And the gestures that people are in and some of the facial expressions, they deliver messages to the viewer.
yep,
And as a child psychologist, that's what she does. Like she's reading in between the lines of what people say to find the deeper message,
yep,
in the behavior. So
right.
it was very, very refreshing, and I'm happy to see that she's taken to it so well. And she actually picked up some stuff and like helped out a kid that was drawing Stitch uh,
Nice.
uh at the art tech the other day. 'Cause I showed her how to like look like when you're drawing from a reference. I showed her how to like sort of like look for all of the simple shapes
Yes.
and sort of like work with the negative space around the form
Yes.
so
To get the
that
shapes right. Yeah.
exactly so you could like get your proportions relatively close and such.
It's like
And
drawing Mickey Mouse's ears. You worry about the space between the ears before the ears.
exactly.
Yeah.
She picked it up. She picked it up really well.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So what are we up to with yours at the moment? You're just rendering your explosion?
Yeah, getting the fiery explosion here. So I'm mixing a bit of the watercolor black. I'm going in there heavy with the black,
Yep.
and then wetting the brush so that I can pull some of those gray values, that sooty sort of color in the
Yep.
in the fire.
Nice.
I mixed in a little bit of this copper over
Uh-huh.
my yellow, right? Because we get a nice sort of like marigold orange effect in there, right? So it feels nice and fiery, nice and warm. And I'm keeping this area nice and negative.
Yep.
And I'm going to lighten some of the silhouette on Man at Arms around the
Yeah,
outside there. And I'm gonna drop my shadow down the center, and then we splash some black ink in this bad boy, and we're good to go.
you better be. Excellent. I'm just going to bring up our original reference.
Let's do it.
So I've got it on the screen now. You can see there's some mechanics on some of this body that I've changed a little bit. So I'm balancing between this and the toy.
Yeah.
So like his armband here, I've actually got a little strap that goes on there on mine.
Right.
But I just wanted to look at his gauntlet too, because it's interesting that he's got the steel matching the helmet, the belt,
Right.
and his little amulet.
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling them? Amulets?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Rather than
The phlegm.
amulets, the flesh amulet. I couldn't remember what it was. And you've gone with the red bolt or gems on the helmet as well.
Yes, I did go with the red on the belt, the red gem on the sword, and the red studs on his helmet.
Nice.
So I think I pulled I pulled elements from all of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, because there were some aspects that I liked from all of them that I wanted to just include in this piece, and I think it came together.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Excellent.
Let's see here. What am I missing? Let's get some of these oranges.
Lot of orange. So much orange.
Yeah, but I think once I do the drop shadow down the center here, he'll still like kind of like pop out from the fire.
Yeah, nice. Are you going to run a highlight? You're going to run a highlight around the edge of him?
Yeah, absolutely. I got this little scraper here.
Yeah.
Got this fine little scraper here that I'm going to Bob Ross my way around the edges here with some white ink. So I can get a nice, fine little line around this silhouette.
You're going to palette knife your way around the Bob Ross.
There you go. I'm going to palette knife my way around the form.
Yeah. Schlepping a bit of paint on. Yeah. Schlep.
I'm telling you, just let that white live wherever it wants to. Happy little white.
So what have you been watching at the moment, Kenny? You've been in deep diving on anything?
What have I been watching? So
what have you?
I've been watching Warrior.
Oh.
On HBO Max.
Yeah.
So Warrior, for those of you that aren't familiar, is a TV show that was loosely based on a TV show that Bruce Lee wrote when he was alive.
Right.
And it takes place, I want to say, the late 1800s, early 1900s, when there was a heavy migration of Chinese coming into San Francisco. Right. So it's kind of like if the Peaky Blinders were set in a kung fu movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Because you got the Irish cops that are trying to maintain, order in between the different crime families and little and the little section where all of the Chinese immigrants are confined to, and then the main character like has come to the States to look for his sister, who was like sold off back in China to this warlord.
That does sound like a Bruce Lee script. There's always
it's great. It is great, and you can
just the Fury background,
Exactly. It's got all of the like as a if you're into martial arts and you know Bruce Lee's films, like it's got everything. Like a little bit of the Big Boss, a little bit of Fist of Fury, a little bit of Enter the Dragon. It's got everything.
The Big Boss was the one with the levels, wasn't it? Where you went up through the building levels and defeated.
No, that was Game of Death.
That's it. Yes, with Chuck
That
Norris.
was Game of Death with the yellow jumpsuit.
Yes, that was a great one. I love that one.
That was a fantastic one. That one's one of my favorites simply because it kind of pit Bruce Lee.
You nearly said Jet Li.
Like, all of these different I know I almost said Jet Li because it pit him against all these different other fighting styles.
Well, it was like a video game too. Like he went up levels through, and beat each level boss to go up.
Exactly.
Is that the one where he killed Chuck Norris?
That was.
Didn't he kill him?
He killed Chuck Norris, but I think it was in. I think that was
so long since I've seen him.
Was it? Wait a minute. Hold on, because it was the one where he fought Chuck Norris in the at the Coliseum in Rome.
Right. Yeah.
What movie was that? I don't.
There's one where he killed him, but I didn't think that was possible to kill Chuck Norris. I thought that was something that no one can do.
Yeah, it was Chuck's stunt double that died. It was never Chuck. Chuck was never.
I shouldn't laugh. We should have a moment of silence for Chuck's stunt double.
No, Big Boss was the one where he had just moved in with some family and he was working in like an ice factory.
Yes.
And the owner of the ice factory was running heroin in the blocks of ice.
Which kind of ingenious.
Yes. He was running heroin out of the blocks of ice and stuff, and then
not that we think that's the right thing to do, kids at home.
No,
but we do support entrepreneurial ideas.
We do not condone the ideas that you find in martial arts action movies. Okay? That's the disclaimer. The views of Bruce Lee and his films do not reflect the views of Will Clayton and Kenny Calderon, respectively.
That's right. Oh, tears! I can't even see my girl.
The boss in that movie, the end guy, he had that comedically huge overbite.
Yes, that's right.
He had the glasses and the really big overbite. He had the monkey on his shoulder. I don't know if you remember. Yes. He had a monkey.
We've all got the monkey.
He's got the monkey. Oh man, I just realized the monkey was on his shoulder. The monkey on the back.
Yeah, there you go.
He was doing heroin.
That was his monkey.
No, it was opium. It was opium. That's what it was.
So good.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about the Crow remake though, with Jason Momoa. I don't know if you can beat Brandon. Brandon Lee was good.
Brandon Lee was fantastic. And
it's such a period piece of the 90s. I don't know if it reflects well now. I don't know.
I still watch that. I still watch that movie. It's easily one of my top 3 all-time favorite movies that I can watch over and over again.
Yeah,
and it still holds up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all, but I just don't know. I don't know. The jury's out on that one.
It will. If you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it.
I've seen the original. I've seen the original, the Brandon Lee one, but I have not seen the new Jason Momoa remake. I don't even know if it's out yet. But
no, I think they shut it down.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they shut it down. Down. It's
did
like
they really?
Wasn't in development hell for now.
Okay.
But yeah, that original movie, and everything else that came behind it, like just pales in comparison to the OG.
Right.
And then, fun fact, there was this documentary where they did interview like James O'Barr,
Right.
right? And what he was going through in the original books. So if you guys aren't familiar with, the original Crow comic, right? Eric Draven wasn't a musician. He was actually a dancer in the books.
Yes.
Right? He was actually a dancer in the books. And in the scenes where Brandon Lee is like playing guitar on the rooftop and he's like having the whole like emo moment, those scenes in the books, Eric, like, the Crow was like dancing, like doing some like interpretive dance,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the book, which influenced the build of the Crow. Like he had a very slim build. He wasn't like meant
Right.
to be bulky or anything.
Yeah.
And that was Brandon Lee playing guitar because he actually was a musician.
Because he could do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love that movie.
It's a great movie. Great villains.
Oh yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah. That in retrospect,
Not your happiest of films, but you've just got to be
not a
prepared
happy
for
movie,
that.
but great cast.
Yes. It's got a real goth feel about it.
Oh, heavily. Yeah. I love the cinematography and just the overall mood of it. Lance Stewart says you have to be careful trying to remake some of the 80s and 90s classics. They don't always have a way to redo or change it up. 100% fact.
I agree. I wish they would follow that rule.
Yes, someone should send Hollywood a memo.
Yeah, so you have Lance, send them that exact message right now.
Yeah,
all of Hollywood right now. You have to be careful. You have to be careful.
Some of those IPs should just be left alone.
Yes.
I get the idealism behind reliving like really good memories, just that nostalgia. I get it. It makes sense.
Says us who are painting He-Man.
Exactly why we're like painting He-Man characters, right? Yeah. But if you're not gonna be true to the source material, and that's wherein lies the folly, right? You're not gonna be true to the source material, and you're gonna inject a lot of like modern day BS, instead of just telling a good story. That's where it falls flat.
Sometimes it's even as simple as that bit of that corporate ego of I'm going to leave my mark on something. Like the property already worked. Like it was successful. It sold. Like you don't have to reinvent the stories as much. You just have to expand or tell on those same stories. You don't have to try and change the actual characters. Just honor it. The designs work. The designs sold. Keep the designs. The stories were good. Keep the stories. It's not hard. Like, I don't think it's hard in that aspect. They make it more difficult than it needs to be because they're just trying to, make a mark for themselves. Look what I did to that universe. And I think if they just stuck with what is honorable and what works about those characters, like you'd have a winning property again.
Absolutely.
Well, look at the Thundercats when they remade the Thundercats cartoon, not the one that just came out, the one before that, and it was very much like Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
It was good. They honored the characters, and I thought it was good, and they honored the characters, and they expanded the universe within those realms, and it worked really well.
I agree. And they expanded on like they had some creative explanations on the lore that I appreciated
because it stuck with their Bible of the characters. They didn't start to say, well, this is going to be the new one according to social values now.
Right.
They built a new one,
and it worked really well. I think because they weren't selling enough toys.
Yeah.
Is why they shelved it.
Right. Quick
You know,
question on your belt there. You've got the red gemstone. Are the
yep,
other ones just studs? Without me looking at the original, is it studs or
they're
are
just
they red?
studs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just studs.
So, what media in your workshops at school, Kenny? What mediums do you use the most with your kids?
So I try to keep it user friendly,
Yeah.
right? And not go with too many things that are like unfamiliar, right? Because
Yeah.
the workshops are meant to be like a fun sort of activity,
Right.
right? So I'm not going to, I guess, like
Smash
do
them.
some, yeah, smash them with something
Smash
because
them.
it's like, oh, this is too hard, or it's meant to kind of be like a
Yes.
social sort of thing that's fun
Today
and
we are doing tempura, children.
yeah,
Tempura.
yeah.
First, we separate the egg yolk from the paint pigment.
If you are unable to pronounce it properly, please
I,
leave.
I love that you turn into Sirius Snape when you become pretentious. Yes, children, we are going to do tempura. You will do tempura how I say. If you cannot, your ignorance will show you to the door. Potter. Potter.
Oh man, now I gotta get a wig. Now I gotta get a wig.
You've already got the robe. You wear a robe. So it's one wig away from success, really. Although I've got to admit, I was watching it with the kids the other day. My kids love Harry Potter. I'll full disclosure, I can't stand Harry Potter. I couldn't handle it. I think I was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
it was
views of
one
Will
movie.
Clayton do not reflect those of Kenny Calderon in any shape or form. That is our disclaimer.
In saying that, I'll happily draw a Harry Potter if someone wants one, but it's just not a movie I can sit through. But
Right.
But I was watching it with the kids, and his classroom kicks ass. I want that classroom.
Yeah, he does.
I want some dark shit going on in the background. I want some like green smoke, a bit of alchemy happening.
There it is.
Like that's the real deal.
Yeah.
Some taxidermy,
I know.
Bit of taxidermy in the classroom.
Oh man, I gotta get a wig now. So that I can like walk, that stride, so that my hair kind of like flows backward the way it does.
Flows backwards. And when you're in the class, it looks like you float. Because the road goes to the ground and you just walk up slowly and talk through your nose. Because when I watched him, I couldn't get past Galaxy Quest or Die Hard. I kept seeing him as those characters. I couldn't see Sirius Snape as anything but that, like.
Shoot.
I kept thinking he had a bomb
When
in
I
the
see him,
towers.
it's well, yeah, obviously Die Hard for sure, because he was fantastic in that. But it was also the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah, right.
In Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
With
and the Dumbledore thing, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I thought, can you not find someone that, I don't know, kind of felt like, I kind of wanted the Christopher Lee to be Dumbledore. I was like, why can't he be Dumbledore?
Yes.
Why does Dumbledore, and the little hat on his head? I'm like, what is, like, if you love that stuff, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult you, but
yes,
I just really, can we go with something that looks cool as a wizard? Like, that looks like those old timey Victorian nighty outfits that men wore, like with the dress and the little hat on top, like Wee Willie Winky. Like,
not everyone can be Gandalf the Grey.
Right.
Not everyone can be Gandalf.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Richard Harris wasn't bad. I didn't mind Richard Harris.
No,
but when he died, I thought it's hard to get a new Richard Harris. Gene Hackman would have been good.
Gene Hackman, yeah, I can see that.
Right. He would have been all right as an old,
I can see Gene doing it.
He would have been a good old Dumbledore, you know.
I can see Gene doing it. He's got like
Yeah.
that moxie.
Yes.
He's got that moxie to pull off the character. I can see that.
Yeah. And he gets those moments too when he can talk real dark and serious and you believe it. Like, like I listen to him in, like, you watch him on Mississippi Burning, or you watch him in even what was I watching with him the other day? It was The Quick and the Dead.
Ooh, great movie.
The Quick and the Dead, when he just goes dark in his conversation about his father. I thought, man, give me that as Dumbledore. Like, that's the real deal.
Great.
Have a few dark moments, you know?
I like that. Great call. Great call.
Yeah, I keep moving off screen here by accident. Hang on, let me move up. There we are.
So I'm dropping in my shadow right now. I'm not going super wet with my brush, right? Because I don't want to lift up some of the paint that I've already applied to my layers here. But
you don't want to reactivate.
That's right. So what I'm doing is, to avoid having to dip my brush, I'm using the dampness of my sponge. The bristle is kind of wet so that I can grab enough paint with minimal water and render in my shadows as needed.
Very cool. Sometimes you can just drift around with a clean brush that's just got a little bit of moisture on it and just move around some of the things that you already have on there.
Absolutely. Pull out some of this in there. All right, we get a nice little push of light. Brush a bit. It's a little black, a little bit of this blue. Drop that very carefully here.
So this week, Kenny, has been the week of Hannibal Lecter movies for me.
Nice.
I've been sort of setting the scene for the painting I was doing, so I've had that playing in the background. I just realized how good Silence of the Lambs is. It's just such a good movie.
Oh, it's a fantastic film.
Like, every actor in that film was fantastic. Like, amazing.
Yes. And you know, I think that of the series, right? Of the series, that one's top tier. Hannibal was top tier.
Yeah.
Right. The what was that other one? Was it Red Dragon? Red Dragon.
With Edward Norton.
Yes.
The prequel.
Edward Norton. That's another one. That's another guy who's like underrated. I love him as villain.
Yes.
I love him in the villain role.
Apparently, he's not very easy to work with. That's what I hear. Allegedly. A great word. Allegedly.
I think tomorrow I'm going to run my workshop as Snape.
As what? Sorry?
As Snape.
Yes, I think you should. Welcome, children.
Sorry.
You have to. You have to take a photo with the wig. I need to see it. Like, I'm not even kidding. I just need that for my day.
And my nose turned up. Just my nose turned up.
Oh, it has to happen. I think I need to make that my profile pic for a while.
Len says, let's be honest, 80% of the stuff they make now gets shelved within a year or two. Also,
Yep.
a fact. Also a fact. Right? Because look at the Batgirl movie.
Yeah, that was bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah, they
were done.
They were done. They were done. But apparently it was crap, and they ended because and from what I understand, it was due to how it like tied in with
Anything.
with Batman,
Yeah.
because it was gonna be like in Keaton's universe.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in Keaton's universe, and like
They need to make a decision. Where are we going? You know?
yeah, it was like supposed to be in Keaton's universe, and it was like not as dark as like Keaton's the Keaton movies were, right?
Right.
Like it felt like an extended CW show. So they can't. Manhunter with William Peterson.
Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson.
Yes. Manhunter with William Peterson. You know what? I actually heard this. I was listening to this podcast on the way to my class yesterday, and they brought up all of these classic like police shows.
Yeah.
That were fantastic, right? Like Kojak. You remember Kojak? Who Loves You, Baby?
Yep. Big Ball Kojak. Yep.
You know, Telly Savalas.
Telly.
Yeah, Telly Savalas. Which fun fact, he's Jennifer Aniston's godfather. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Telly Savalas. Who Loves You, Baby? Right?
But the Manhunter stuff fits right into the Hannibal universe.
He really, yeah.
Because that's what's the character's name in Red Dragon? Edward Norton's.
Ooh, I'm forgetting.
Will. Anyway, his name's Will. but yeah, he was. I think that's like a continuation of him as an FBI agent. If I could be completely wrong, Andrew, you have to correct me, but that's what I remember.
Ignoring character in Red Dragon.
It was Will something.
Will Graham.
There you go, Will Graham. Yeah.
Will Graham. Yeah, and what was this other one? Columbo was great.
Columbo.
The unassuming detective. You know, the unassuming detective. I think I loved Columbo more than any other like police detective show on the air at the time.
But he's bumbling way of solving the crime, but it was successful.
Right. And man, like the dude went into like a whole like slew of TV shows from the 80s and 90s. There were like all these cop dramas.
Yeah.
Like Jake and the Fat Man.
Yes. I remember Jake and the Fat Man. Simon and Simon, another one.
Yes.
Simon and Simon. I mean, in Australia, we used to get a lot of those shows when our normal programming for the year would end. And then those would be like our summertime shows like MacGyver and
oh yeah,
Murder She Wrote and Jake and the Fat Man, Simon and Simon, The Fall Guy. I used to love The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy, yes.
With Lee Majors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Norton also did great in the Hulk movie. Really
I liked him. I liked him as Bruce Banner. It was good.
Bring Hunter Park. Yes. So
yeah, I liked him too. I liked him as he was good in that.
I agree. I think he was really good in that movie, and I think that he captured the I guess that vibe of like he played a really good Banner for me.
Yeah, he just seemed a very I don't know. You could feel the distress in him. Like you could see
Yeah,
that he was really struggling to try and find a cure, but then hide from humanity. But he's in love, and it was a whole. Yeah, I felt for him. Like I didn't feel that so much with Eric Banner, but
yeah.
certainly felt it with Edward Norton. I thought he was good.
Like I think the with the exception for that that first Hulk, right?
Yeah,
The Ang Lee Hulk,
yeah. Eric
the
Banner.
the Norton Hulk and the Ruffalo Hulk. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but didn't they kind of resemble Hulk from different eras?
Yeah, the Norton Hulk really reminded me of that the '90s David. What was his name? The artist. What was the artist that did Hulk? He became part of. Was he part of Image? I want to say it wasn't David. It was
Larson? Larson?
Dale Keown. No, he wasn't part of
Oh
Image.
yes.
He just reminded me of
Yes.
the Hulk out of that. You know, like the very slimmer chin kind of look on the
Right.
Hulk.
Like
And
the
the Ruffalo.
leaner,
Yeah.
the leaner, very like ripped kind of
Yes.
Hulk.
And yeah, thinner face.
Right.
But the Ruffalo just reminds me of a Bashima Hulk, like Sal
Yes.
Bashima. You know, that real sort of thick wrists, thick ankles. You know, that kind of very heavy forearm
Right.
kind of look.
The bulkier, like beefier.
Yeah.
Hulk.
Yes.
So he's like less defined, but he's just beefy.
Hulk smash.
Yes.
That Hulk. Yeah. The real 70s and 80s Hulk.
Andrew says, been watching all of Columbo on Amazon Prime on season 5. So good, even though so good they even so good even though they reuse actors from Murderers.
That's great. I kind of want to see it for that reason alone. That's great.
I don't think I've ever noticed that. I don't think I've ever noticed
next episode. Comes back next episode as a murderer. Hey.
Now I need to watch.
Yes.
Now I
I'm
need
gonna
to
watch out for that. I'm gonna watch out for that.
Just for that aspect alone. It's worth the watch. Oh man, they reuse actors from previous from previous crimes. That's great.
That's cool.
You know, budgets.
Yeah, budgets again.
I like that.
I love that he was rocking the old Humphrey Bogart trench coat the whole way through the series too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That was great.
But then it's like after Columbo, I couldn't unsee him as like the grandfather from The Princess Bride.
Yes.
You know, like no one says Princess Buttercup the way he does.
Yes.
You know, Princess Buttercup, as you wish.
Yeah. He had a great way of speaking. And the glass eye was always a classic, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
The wandering eye.
I gotta check.
Hey, thanks.
What's going on? Got to get back to work. All right, Lance.
Thanks for joining us.
Good of you to pop in and hang out with us for a little bit with our nonsense.
Yes. Good luck with your week, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Robert Culp was on at least 3 times. You may remember him as the government liaison from The Greatest American. What? That's right, The Greatest American Hero, Robert Culp.
He wasn't Greatest American Hero big. Like it was huge out here. Like It was like top. It was like even the theme song was like in the top 10 or something at the time.
Yeah.
Greatest American Hero.
Greatest American Hero, man. I loved that show.
Yes. Well, I mean, look at the time. Like, I mean, how much superheroes did we get on telly? Like,
we didn't get too many. I mean, it was that week Shazam show.
Yeah. You got the Incredible Hulk.
The Lou Ferrigno Hulk was pretty popular.
66 Batman and 77 Wonder Woman, but we didn't really get.
I mean,
really get much.
The pilots for Daredevil and Thor.
That was terrible.
The Spider-Man show.
Spider-Man was good, yeah.
Where with the goggles, where the actor wore goggles on his.
But you know what? You kind of live with it, didn't you? You're like, yeah, cool. But at least I got Spider-Man climbing a wall. You know.
There you go. Yeah. And they would play the theme music as he would go up the wall.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, it wasn't too much. I mean, and we're talking, this is like the height
of the Donner Superman movies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
but TV didn't have the budget, did it? Like really? Like.
Well, no, not since the George Reeves stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not since the George Reeves stuff. And I remember as a kid, they would still play like the George Reeves reruns.
Yeah.
Like late night or sometimes
early morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the same thing. I'd get up early with Dad and watch them because that was his childhood. You know, he watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
It is. Yeah. Classic Hollywood Superman.
Oof. Nothing like that anymore. Well, the current show that's on CW it's pretty good, pretty decent. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I do enjoy the family dynamic that they write about in that show.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah, I agree, Andrew. Having not him in the latest Spider-Man is a shame, but I think they had a couple, didn't they? Who else missed out? I mean, they could have had a whole bunch. They had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Who was the one they were missing? The new one, weren't they? But yeah, Andrew Cole.
Wonder Woman show holds. The Wonder Woman show holds up. Yeah. On HBO Max over here. I have not seen the Nicholas Hammond live-action Spider-Man show in forever. Was sad they didn't put him in the last Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like it's kind of been lost in time, that series, I guess, a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, that one doesn't get enough love. That one doesn't get enough love. I was surprised.
I was surprised that the Japanese one got more love than the American one.
Yeah. But to be fair, funny.
Oh yeah. Like
so funny.
He's got a mech.
He's got a giant mech.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he want one? It's in the contract. I want a mech.
He's got a giant mech. Who wouldn't want that? The Wonder Woman show went through some changes. I love when it was sent in DC, but they obviously filmed in Los Angeles. Yeah, I did enjoy the Wonder Woman show. I distinctly remember having my
I guess one of the first celebrity crushes being on Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Oof. Linda Carter, man, she was Fox. She still is.
She's done that serious tape. Is her type? Sorry, Kenny.
Man, I think it was the blue eyes and dark hair. That's what. So did it.
But she was such a good honoring of the character. Like she looked like Wonder Woman. Like
Yes, she
you
did.
know, it's just great casting.
Very, very good casting. Very, very good casting. They hit it right on the head with that one.
Yeah.
I wasn't too keen on the whole like fish out of water
narrative that they were going for initially.
Yeah.
But when she got the twirling,
Mm.
when she got the twirling, yes, Diana, yes, twirl, Diana, yes. We all were in love with the car. We all hunted down that terrible driving movie she did before. Yes,
For research purposes.
Oh, for research purposes. Yes,
Inverted commas.
I love it.
I have to see this because it's for research. What research? Just research.
Oh man.
But what just research. Just research.
For research purposes, I like
And you
it.
don't have to explain. It's just research.
It's just research. That's all.
What does it pertain to? Nothing. Just research. Just because it's research.
Oh, that's great.
Are you writing an essay for school? No, just research. Just
No. My
Just
own
research.
personal findings.
purely
That's the word. My own personal
really.
findings.
So I just have
As it were.
an awareness in case there's an assignment that I need to do.
You know,
Uh,
for trivia and useless
Yes.
facts.
yes.
You never know.
I've got a whole folder and video selection based upon research.
That's great. That's great.
But not just research purposes. I love it, Andrew. I love it.
Oh man, that's great stuff.
Uh,
All right, we're almost there.
Almost there. So I dropped in my shadows. Right. Let's tilt the camera down a little bit. So I dropped in my shadows. I was very, very careful with not going too wet in the brush. Right. So we get a nice shadow going up the center of Duncan. I'm going to be softening some areas of the silhouette with some titanium white. And then we're going to start dropping in our ink. All right.
Nice.
So I'm going to start with the heavier areas. I'm going to leave a lot of the background in the watercolor and gouache mix. Right.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna like define a lot of that line work.
right.
Except for some of the more contrasting areas in the droids here on the ground. But we are almost there.
Nearly over the line. As for me, it could take me another 3 years to do this.
Mr. Noodle.
As I-
Mr. Noodle.
Mr. Noodle. That's the guy with Elmo. Isn't that the guy with Elmo? Mr. Noodle.
We appreciate the noodle. We appreciate the noodling. There was much to learn of the noodling. There's much to learn of the noodling. All right. That there are some areas I could continue to noodle.
Yes.
But I feel as though can bring out a little more black. I can bring in a little more black for some areas, right? And a lot of my forms are in place, so now it's just a matter of just popping Duncan forward.
Right. Yeah.
Let's get our white ink. Oh man, research purpose.
Let's go on the title of this episode.
Research purposes. I love it.
Join us as we deep dive a Man at Arms. And he's
Just for research purposes. Let me shake this ink.
Trying to paint a fine line. I'm laughing too much.
All right. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, perfect. Now let's get a little brush, a little big brush.
You are taking that Bob Ross sort of approach to things I've noticed today. Very, very, very reminiscent of Bob Ross.
It is, as it were, necessary. And get some of those nice little areas there. No, I'm not going to go too heavy on the white. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah. You don't want it too glossy.
Right, because then it looks like he's covered in cellophane.
He's laminated.
Right.
And laminated for battle.
As that extra layer of protection amidst the leotard and the armor.
That's right. Don't worry about getting armor for my crotchal region. I'm going to laminate myself
to prevent any moisture absorption.
Exactly. That's the important stuff because let's face it, my little fairy undies do not want to get wet.
No. These are dry clean only.
They can. That's right.
Just applying a little bit of this white into some of the cracks where we want to cast some of that light around the armor. It's that nice break there. Get a little bit of this curve in the studs. It gives us a nice little bit of shape language there. Break up some of the lines here. That reminds me, I had just gone over something like this with one of my kids. He's I think he's 9. He's 8 or 9 years old.
A great age.
Yeah.
Age of wonderment.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. And he's like a little machine, man. He just makes these comics where he like fills up a whole sketchbook of just like these fun characters, just doing these long drawn out anime fights, but they're right.
Nice.
And I showed him how we can start to distinguish his good guys from his bad guys, right? Using just some visual context.
Yep.
And how we can make light feel bright.
Very cool.
Right? Because he's got 1 or 2 characters that like throw fireballs.
Right.
So I had him demonstrate for me what the character would look like if he's holding the fireball. Right. So he would draw the. Let me see.
he would grab a pencil here. He would illustrate. He would illustrate like the character's hand, right? Like that.
Yeah.
And then do the whole fireball as one solid thing. Right?
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, let's try something. What if we broke up the line of the fireball and the line for the hand? Right? Now it feels as though the fire is in the hand, and this area of the fireball is the brightest point.
Right.
Right? And I saw his little eyes kind of get big and like, oh man. So it's like, you know, now everything is on fire. Everything is on fire.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's like light sources everywhere.
That's great.
And that, you know, and that's what makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. That's great.
It's like unlocking the next level. So now everything is on fire.
Everything's burning.
That's it. That made my night, dude. Like, because he's such an imaginative kid.
Yeah.
He's very, very creative, and the rate at which he like creates characters is like, I'm almost jealous. You know, because he does it like so effortless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get what I'm saying. That as adults we tend to like overthink a little bit.
Yeah.
He's just doing it. He's just
cranking them out. Yeah. Banging them out like it's an X-Force comics in 1990.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. New Mutants. Well, Liefeld has that same gift. Like, he just cranks those characters out. I remember reading it when he brought Deadpool out. I had the issue when he brought Deadpool out. And I thought, oh, cool, like another one. And then he'd do Cable, and then he'd do new outfits for the characters. And he'd just go. He's just going at 100 miles an hour.
You got to admire that.
Did I just read that he'd retired from comics? Did I just read that?
Oh, I don't know.
I can't imagine him ever retiring from comics. He loves comics so much.
Yeah. It'd be kind of strange for him to retire now, just before the Deadpool movie comes out.
Yeah.
And he's not
how old's Liefeld? He'd only be in his 60s, wouldn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's see. Rob Liefeld. He's 56.
56.
56.
It's all that Fox Bank that's flowing into the into the bank account.
56.
So I am just layering in a bit of reflected light from the explosion below Man-at-Arms in his tricep area.
Very nice.
Just for research purposes. I'm just putting that in. Oh, that made my day.
Same. Andrew says he's prone to making dramatic statements. I know he is doing a lot of Whatnot auctions. Not my scene, but I have a buddy that got one of his books off him via Whatnot auction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm seeing that a lot of them are doing Whatnot stuff.
Yeah.
One of the young ladies that I follow on Whatnot, she's always tagging me every time like Todd McFarlane goes live.
Oh, so Toddy's doing it too. The Todd father.
Yes, the Todd father. And during what was that? During New York, not New York. Was it New York? Yeah, it was New York. During New York Comic Con in October. There were a lot of whatnot auctions, like and like live streams from New York Comic Con.
Yeah, right. From the convention itself, like
Yeah, from the con.
wow.
From the con.
Okay, that's different.
Like I think like whatnot had a booth.
Oh
Right?
wow.
So
Okay.
they would like bring people over to the booth and you get the whole whatnot backdrop, right?
Yeah.
And they're
And
just
do
like
a live auction.
yeah, they're doing live auctions and selling off
Oh,
like
that's cool. That's good. That's
yeah,
cool.
artwork, signed books,
I love that.
pop figures. Yeah, man. It
That's
was really, really like there was a lot of activity New York Comic Con weekend. So all I'm doing right now is sort of cutting into the figure with some white to give an implication of the light reflecting around Duncan's form. And then I'm going to drop some of the white into the fire so we get some nice like embers going.
yes.
And then the final step will be the ink. Years back, Whatnot did a co-sponsor with Marvel for a time. Marvel was streaming their shit would have co-sponsors. I believe it. I believe it. You know, like I actually had tagged in some Whatnot streams from like guys that are like industry guys, right? Like there aren't a lot of them, but there's a few of them that are doing Whatnot, especially when things kind of like slowed down for a little bit coming off of the pandemic. There were a few guys on Whatnot like selling their stuff and doing like live stream like commission work and such. And recently I got tagged in a stream where someone had pulled a Miles Morales that I did for Marvel Premiere. Which was nice to see.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
It's always interesting to like come across your artwork out in the wild.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. That's right.
You know, out in the wild. Which was funny because you know how I write my signature. The guy couldn't read my signature.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh man, this Miles Morales is really cool." And let's see who the artist is, right? So he flipped the card over and he was like, we'll look at the checklist.
Yeah. Kenny Coopertoon.
Who's the artist for that?
Kenny Coppertone? What is that?
Kenny Coppertone. Coming this summer. You know what I mean? Like, it was
in a world. Kenny Coppertone.
Oh, chicken scratch.
I want you to invent one of your characters now called Kenny Coppertone.
The names and identities have all been changed for the safety of all of the characters involved
and viewers.
Yeah.
Kenny Coppertone.
Kenny Coppertone. Seems not a bad way to dump your comps. It's true. It's true. But my problem is, Andrew, is I like holding on to everything, right? Like I hold on to everything.
I don't like getting rid of nothing, dude.
Ask Melissa.
Everything.
Ongoing discussion.
You know what I mean? But like, I got like artist proofs from previous Marvel sets that I haven't been able to let go just because, you know, it's stuff that I did for Marvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
that's cool.
and like, I hold on to them just because it's like it's a milestone for me, right? And like my son, who's 11 years old, you know, they're really for him, so that you know he can like kind of look back at some of the things that his old man did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got no man. Like I got stuff that like I'm surprised people are willing to pay me money for. You know, I believe Walt Simonson held on to 99% of his original art. I think that is why when artist editions started, all true. Yeah, the artist editions from IDW, we had so many of his own. I agree, and that's actually a great way to sort of like get the art out there, but like not get rid of your OPs. And I
Yeah.
mean,
Try and hold on to the originals as much as you can. And I'm surprised with that because he came from those days when there was no return policy, didn't he? Like,
that's right.
that's incredible that he held on to it.
That's right. It says, I mean, Walt is also a great artist, but helps to know where all your pages are for those things. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. That I've like when it comes to like full sequential books, I've worked on something like six full sequential books. I've got those original pages sitting in my bookshelf right now, the 11 by 17s, the originals.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's hard to part with those. Really,
It is
really
hard,
part with
but
those.
then you also, you know, how much storage space can you eventually have? You got to make some decisions eventually.
That's true. That's true. Melissa, for the most part, has been very understanding up to this point.
Yes. It's when you start renting a second condo for your storage.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when she's like, okay, see, now decisions
we've got a problem.
Yeah.
Can we talk?
Decisions need to be made. You know, she's been great. Get some of these hairline cuts there. Now you can keep on high quality scans and flog the originals for big. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is 100% true.
That's what I tend to do. I have a digital library and I just move on the originals if I can.
Yeah.
Because I get concerned at my own ability to archive them safely.
Right.
You know, so you know, the worst thing is when you find damaged art. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
And then it's not going to do anything.
These Motu paintings, like,
Yes.
trust me, Andrew, I'm on the fence about letting these bad boys go. Like, simply because, again, it was like this is kind of a milestone for me. I've never drawn any character from the Masters of the Universe IP, so this is my first attempt at that. And because it's my first attempt at that, yeah, I'm like retaining like high res scans of all the paintings that I've done up to this point.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, being able to look at the painting and then, you know, really like run your fingers across the texture that's left behind on the page. It's not the same.
Lay them out on the bed, look at them.
You know,
lay down next to them.
You know,
for research purposes, and just
call them
look
all
at them.
pet names.
Yes.
You know. All for research purposes.
Absolutely.
All for research purposes. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes. Yes.
Melissa comes barging into the room to ask me something, and she sees me laying on the bed with all my artwork.
Oh,
What are you doing?
Just slowly shuts the door without saying anything.
It's all research, babe. I swear. It's for research.
But why the outfit? Why'd you dress up?
It's so that I could absorb the information from the research that much faster.
Why the serious snake wig in the outfit? Why? When you're only looking at your paintings on your own that no one can see.
Because then I feel feeble otherwise.
You know I'm having a quiet moment. You know it. You know I need this. It's been a big week.
God, just let me have it. God, let me have this.
You know I don't ask so much. This is my thing. You knew it.
I do one weird thing. One. You know
One.
that.
And you take photos and post it online. Why? It brings shame to both of us. You know this. Think of the children.
Think of the children. This is what we do every Friday, Andrew. Welcome.
Welcome. And you know what? This is what's going through our head anyway. We just let it out. You know? I'd be saying this stuff to myself. My wife would say, "Why'd you yell out? Think about the children and research purposes. Why are you yelling that out?"
That's it.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna cut into some of these etchings on the droids. I want to leave everything in the background like without a defined line.
Yes.
And focus all of the line art on Man at Arms, so we get like
nice depth of field. Yeah,
we got a nice depth of field there.
That's cool.
Let's see here. What do we got? I think we're good there. I think we can add a little bit of this white to the edge of the helmet.
What do you think of the Skeletor one? Have you had any more thoughts about that? You know, that's our next adventure.
Man, I think
he's the big bad.
He is the big bad. And even at this last show, I had a guy look at the paintings because I had them in my portfolio.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, I'm gonna hold out for that Skeletor." I told him Skeletor's the next one up. He's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna hold out for Skeletor."
People love the Masters of the Universe stuff. They love it. Because it's so colorful and fun. And I don't know if there's that many people really doing it. Like, but there's a lot of people.
I don't like off the top of my head. I don't know of many guys that are like doing it.
No. But I've enjoyed how flamboyant it is. Like,
yes,
so much color and because it's a toy property, but just so much fun with it.
Yeah. So I think, man, I haven't decided. I got a few ideas in my head.
Yeah.
But I would need to do a little more research. I want to do a little bit of homework.
Yeah.
Because it's got to feel authentic.
Yes.
Because I thought of the throne, but like you're gonna do a throne.
No, I'm not doing the throne.
You're not gonna do the throne?
No, I was originally going to do the throne, but I thought Yeah, I thought about that, but I thought I might just do him in some other pose. I don't know. I thought about him even with Panthro, but Panthro is one of our later ones.
Right.
Panthro. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still up in arms about it. Maybe a big cauldron or something. I don't know.
And that's one that I thought of as well, like having him stand in front of like a cauldron, like wielding a spell.
Because he's got that. They show that in the cartoon, don't they? That giant cauldron thing that you can see what He-Man's doing through the cauldron.
Right.
Which is weird. It could be weird. What are you doing in there? It's research. It's more research. Research.
It's my research.
He-Man again? All right.
It's for research purposes.
But He-Man, all right.
What?
That's your thing. Well, I got no face. Give me a break. Pretty happy with those arms. Gonna move down to his abs now.
The arms came out great.
Just trying to get that lighting from two areas going on. Keep reminding myself there's light coming up, there's light coming up, there's light coming up.
I mean, the secondary light source, is that gonna be colder or is that gonna be warmer?
So, well, actually, then probably I've got three light sources. So I've got the fire from the explosion coming up, the light from that. That's creating almost a primary light source because it's so bright. I have the sunlight coming down, and then I've got a cooler blue that I've been adding on the left, coming this way. So
because what you could do is with the colder blue, that could be colored pencil.
Yeah, yep. Could do that.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? So that you're not like over rendering the gouache and like reactivating some areas.
Yeah. Although the cool blue and the green, like I'm doing now, it tends to come off quite easily because it's so harmonious.
Yeah.
But that Hannibal Lecter piece I was doing during the week, I rendered the blue in that, the reflected light in that with color pencil over the top.
Nice.
Nice.
I like the use of colored pencil over certain media.
Yeah.
Right, because it's just soft enough to get a nice little effect over like paint and marker and such.
Right, and you can get some nice effects that give it that nice Drew Struzan style sort of drawing.
Yeah,
because he works into it with a lot of white pencil and flesh tones to give it some textures as well. So Jason Palmer's another one that does the same sort of thing. He's like a Drew Struzan contemporary.
Yeah.
But very much in the same sort of light of things. Gives a nice effect.
I'm using this brush pen to pull out some really deep blacks in some of these areas here, particularly with the pelt. Right, like the pelt that we have in the openings here around the shoulders and arms.
The underwear offcuts.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna get in here, just in the furry boot portion.
Yes.
All right.
Because he's actually thought about matching those. That's going to match with the whole outfit.
Because if you're gonna go into battle, you may as well be coordinated, right?
If you're gonna look like the man at arms, you gotta look kick-ass. You gotta look synchronized with your
There
colors.
You go.
All right.
It's all got a coordinate.
They don't have an Edna Node going, darling. Can you imagine being the Edna Node in the Masters of the universe?
It's all got to coordinate.
Yes, a black pelt, darling.
Yeah. I Today I'm feeling
Red gemstones in your belt, darling, must match the helmet. See, now my Edna Knode's kind of like Sirius Snape and Edna Node had a child. There's a visual for your kids. There's a visual for you playing at home. You can share the trauma, all right? So it's not just in my brain.
It must match, darling. I wouldn't be caught dead, my dear.
I love The Incredibles. That's one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah,
such a good film.
It's fantastic. I really enjoy a lot of the characterization that goes into creating the personalities behind a lot of those characters.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, because they make the personalities very relatable.
Right. So ordinary.
Yeah.
So ordinary.
So I'm going to etch in some of the negative space in between the wrapping around his boots. I'm not going to go super detailed with it due to how harsh the lighting is behind Man at Arms. So we got that. Wrap right there. And into the boot.
The way he's ready for the celebration or the funeral pyre. Yes, that way he is ready for the funeral celebration, for the funeral pyre or the celebration. I agree.
Correct.
He's ready to go.
So maybe not so much Man at Arms, but many events. That could be his name. Many events.
Many events.
Will you be joining us for dinner? Yeah, buddy. Oh.
I'm ready. I'm ready now.
I'm ready for all events. I can do anything. Right now, I can do anything. Right now.
Right now. I'm ready.
I love this how you think he talks. It cracks me up. He's so aloof. Right now, I can do anything.
I'll do all of it.
How about that event? Have we gone far left enough for you today? Because I think we have.
So, those of you that are following along with us, I'm just dropping in some of these harder blacks, right, to aid in the communication of there being a shadow in the center of Man at Arms' form, since we have a light source pushing in from the rear there. So I'm using a Pentel brush pen, right, to get some of these larger fills in. Yvette says, "Oh yes, she's been chuckling the whole way." You're a great sport, Yvette.
Yes.
This is these are the mind. This is a glimpse of the mind and of painters and artists.
Yes. We give you the 1% because any more than that, it'd be like looking at the sun.
Yeah,
terrify people. 1% of my insanity. That's all you get.
looking at the sun. Oh, that's great. I don't know why I thought of Terry Crews in the Old Spice commercial. He says solar power. Oh man, double sun power. Oh
Too
man.
funny. Oh dear.
Get it here nice and thin. We don't want to go too thick on that line weight.
Rod Ramos. Was that Rod or Rodolfo?
I think it was Rod Ramos.
Yes.
No, Rod Rodolfo. It was Rodolfo. Ramos was a name that he wanted dropped.
He liked the thick line.
Yes, he likes it thick. He likes it thick. So I'm gonna break out the quill right now. Start dropping in some of this line work. We get a little sheet here to test. All right. Start with the leg here. Now, I love working with this quill. The line quality on this is amazing.
It's always addictive.
Oh man, it really is. And then just the scratch on the page is so satisfying.
Yeah. When's the next convention, Kenny?
My next convention is going to be next month, end of next month, Puerto Rico Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So that's going to be during Holy Week in Puerto Rico. The very last week in March in San Juan. And that's always a great show.
Yeah.
Always a great show in Puerto Rico. And I think Melissa will be coming with me again.
Nice.
Yeah, she enjoys it. Because the Puerto Rico Comic Con, to my understanding, there's like more than one, but Puerto Rico Comic Con is like the bigger show.
Right.
Because there's one that's a little smaller in one of the nearby towns.
Yep.
Well, the one that's held in March is the like that. That's the big dog. Like that's the granddaddy that everybody goes to.
Right.
So Puerto Rico Comic Con, they have like all of the big media guests. Like there's going to be a bunch of voice actors from the popular animes popping in.
Right.
And they just really put on a good show, dude. Like at the end of the day, it's just a really good show. That like when the last time that I did it, that Melissa was with me, she was like shocked that they were like giving away free empanadas in the show.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because like Goya usually has like a booth in the middle along with like Malta India, right? Which is like it's like soda pop, like a malt.
Okay.
Like a malt soda.
Yep.
It's really popular on the island. And yeah, man, and they usually have like these drawing contests as well, where You can donate artwork to a charity, and it's just they got a lot. They got a lot of little activities. They got some gaming stuff.
Does any of the big companies get out there? The publishing companies?
Not to my knowledge, not that I've seen up to this point.
That's tragic. Haven't figured it out yet.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
They just, I guess, they assume that, like,
they'll come to us in New York. Yeah,
right. That like the fandom isn't that big, but on the contrary, the fandom in Puerto Rico is huge.
Yes.
That I've had conversations like with some fans that are like from Puerto Rico, like not not Americans that like relocated. They're from the island, and like they're very like knowledgeable about culture.
Yeah, cool. Was that the one we were eventually going to come out and do with you?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
That says you talking about Power reminds me of Monkey TV. A Monkey TV show. That's where my mind goes. What is the Monkey TV show?
Is that Monkey with the Japanese came out in the 60s and 70s where they traveled with Tripitaka the monk across Japan? Was that the one? And Monkey was the god of mischief or something. And Pigsy, do you remember that?
No.
Pigsy and Sandy. Oh man.
Oh wait, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, Monkey Magic.
Monkey Magic. Hold on.
Okay. I still love Monkey.
She says, yeah.
I'm gonna find the trailer and put it on the chat for you.
Hold on. Monkey Magic.
Monkey.
Oh yes, I do remember this.
Yeah. That's a great show.
Yeah, I do remember this. Andrew says, I did buy an old page where the word balloons fell off. They were included in a baggie.
Oh.
Now see, that's you can't get more authentic than that.
That's right. I love that with the word balloons on them. That's great.
You can't get more authentic than that. That's serious business right there. What page was it? Like what from what book?
Ooh, from Thunderbolts. Nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's kind of something that we miss now, isn't it? When you buy original pages, it doesn't have the word balloons. But
right.
That's a shame because that old school, the narrative boxes, the thought balloons,
right?
That's so cool. Very cool.
Now, if you guys are curious, I'm not going to. You're gonna notice that I'm gonna be breaking up my line a lot, and it's because I don't want a solid line all the way around my details. Right, I just want to give enough of a line in these elements just to help I guess like force what I did here with like shapes and form, kind of help support it.
When do you as an artist know when to pull back with the final line work, Kenny?
I kind of step away from it as I go.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll do a little bit, and then I'll like stop and look at it, and kind of like pull the reins so I don't like overdo it.
Yeah.
So like in here, I realize I can drop a little bit of shadow in here. So I'll hatch a little bit. And then I could get away with a dark shadow in here as well. Here. I can kind of hatch that in. Andrew says it will change the lettering at some point into its run. I vastly prefer pages with word balloons. Above my computer, I currently have framed a Rick Lenardi Allen page from Spider-Man 2099 meets Spider-Man #1. Wow,
Ooh,
story
that's
page.
good.
Very much with the price, and the price was right. Nice. Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with that kind of stuff. You can't go wrong with that kind of stuff. That I know it's gonna run me a pretty penny, and I know it'll be difficult for me to find it.
Yeah.
But I want to come up on either a Dan Jurgens
Ooh.
or a George Perez Superman.
Yes.
All right.
Not a
Like,
Byrne, not a John Byrne.
John Byrne, nah, not so much John Byrne, because I think for me personally, like when I think of Superman, I think of Dan Jurgens and George
Yep.
Perez. Like George Perez, the way he would illustrate like Wonder Woman, like his run on Justice League.
Yeah.
You know, and Dan, for me, like Dan Jurgens, just like he was on Superman for so long that it's like I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
he did a run right through the death, didn't he? So he went from 88
he did,
right
he
through
did,
to the death. Yeah.
and brought him back,
Yeah.
and brought him back.
Yeah, I'm the same, but I'd probably go earlier, and I'd probably go Kurt Swan and Wayne Boring.
Ooh, okay.
Kurt Swan and Wayne Boring Superman would be, but you're looking at, geez, thousands. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying.
you go old like that, or Al Plastino. He's a great Superman. I think go early like that. It's going to cost you the money. Yeah, you can't beat that old stuff. It's good value.
Yeah. Here in the rivets in the belt, just for dramatic effect.
Just for giggles. Just for a few giggles.
Yeah, just for a few giggles. Get a little hatching in there. Might blacken some of this, but throw a little hatching in there just so we can get a nice little transition from the black going into the green.
Nice.
Get this hilt here. How you doing over there, Will?
Good. I'm moving through the legs now, and as I'm going, because I'm working on such large areas, right. I'm mindful that the trap is to move quicker and traumatize the paper.
Right.
So I am trying to just treat it as a layer, and then I'll come back and clean up any strokes. So the streakiness will go away on the next layer. So it's really just another wash, not a wash, but a thicker covering.
Right. Now, when you're working with a larger area, for example, do you stay with a relatively mid-sized brush, or do you go with something a little bigger?
I go larger, but I don't go rounder. So because you can go with those beautiful big Japanese watercolor brushes, but the bristles just can't handle it. I mean, if I'm doing something where I'm working on illustration board, like the horror piece I'm working at the moment,
Yeah.
it holds it really well. So I can go large and round, and I can even use airbrush. But these Bristol pages just flip out. They just can't handle it. So when I'm doing this stuff, I just have to work. I can use a large flat brush,
Right.
but I've just got to go in smaller areas.
Yeah.
Because too much trauma, the paper just flips out on you. So
Sure.
I've just got to work slowly, and the trick to that is to just keep in mind where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So rather than making one strong bold flash, you've got to then move slower through it. If that makes sense.
Yep.
And that's where I'm at now. So the legs are a fairly large area, but I'm lucky enough that I can move through the hills of the muscle, so in and out, just reminding myself what I'm up to.
Yeah.
So it might look like a haphazard madness as I'm going through it, but the thought process is very controlled.
Right.
So I'm just adding that reflected light blue in, which is a nice sort of turning point on that leg.
That looks great.
So from the bright green of the flash of the fire to the cool green, cool blue.
That's fantastic. I like that a lot.
Just pops it back a bit, you know.
Yeah.
So as you guys can tell, right, once we start applying a lot of the darker values, right, the blacks, and keeping some of that hatching in some of these areas here, a lot of texture, right, sort of like gives it an extra layer of drama.
Yeah.
So this is
Man at Arms, right? If you watch the Masters of the Universe, for those of you that are in the chat right now, Hollywood One is my cousin, and a video game streamer, and so as I was saying, Man at Arms, he's like, how would you describe it, Will? Is he like the military guy?
I always saw him as
universe?
like he was just the ultimate specialist in combat weapons, right? So he didn't have like obviously the power sword, and he didn't have like special abilities like Buzz off of Iskar or Stratos. He was the hand-to-hand combat guy. Like he knew how to bring it. But when the comic sort of the cartoon came about, he became the head of the Palace Guards. You know, he was.
Right.
That's why he had his outfit slightly different to the guards. He's got the gemstones because he's a head of the Royal Guards. So, but yeah. Oh, Lance, Andrew's just saying he's off. So thanks for joining us, Andrew. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Yes. Thanks for
Coming out
hanging
here,
out, Andrew.
Hope you had a bit of fun, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, we're back every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
11.
What time is it for you over there?
11 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
11 a.m. Saturday morning in Australia.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this is where we're in the home stretch, as it were. Right. So what I'm using here is a nice round brush. It's and I'm using it in the dipped ink water.
Right.
Right. So I can get a nice gray value in some of these areas.
right? It tends to like multiply along with the base color there,
Yeah.
and not really reactivate any of my layers.
For your skeletal one, Kenny, are you going to go with a very dark value system, or what's your plan? Are you going to have him outdoors as well?
You know what? I think for the skeletal one, I think I'm gonna do something indoors just to kind of switch it up.
Yeah.
Right? Because all of them up to this point have been outdoors.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm gonna do something a little different.
It's almost as if you could line them up as one battle, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like it's the roll call and everyone's kind of like
the swamps and out of the mountains.
Yeah.
For sure.
More of this dirty ink water.
I'm going to do the same. I think I'll do him indoors, but I think for the battle armor Skeletor, I'll have him outside in the battle.
Yes, that's right. I forget the battle armor characters are soon approaching.
Yes, they're on the second line, so look it out for 2028 when we get to that.
No.
No, we'll get through it, and I think we'll probably speed up in the holidays and things like that. So we'll be able to crank a bit more out.
I mean, if you think about it, like we've been banging through these like fairly quick.
Yeah.
Right. The first, Beastman was a little slower.
Yes.
But as we muscle through these, we're banging them out pretty fast. Well, we're getting faster.
And we're not doing Inktober's. Like these are fully rendered paintings too. Like we're not.
That's right.
Spending a bit of time on them.
Yeah, which says a lot. It says a lot.
That says 2028. Lock me in. Done.
Nice. See, this is why I call this part or this phase of the artwork the fun part, because it's like this is where like all the drama starts to like unify the piece, and the shadows and the lights start working really well together.
Nice. Start getting a bit of meat in the sandwich.
There you go. Let me start lining in that arm. How's the weather over there, Will?
Not too bad. We've had a bit of stormy action, but it's so it's cooled off today a bit. But bushfires around the place because of the storms, but we're heading towards autumn, which is nice. Hopefully, we've crossed the bridge from all the hot weather now. You're saying that I'll probably get a week of extreme hot weather. Now you will pay, mortal.
Yeah.
How about you? How's the hurricane? That's not till autumn, August anyway, is it? You got hurricane.
No, hurricane season for us is in the summer. So like in July, coming off of May.
So August,
well up to December is hurricane season for us.
Right. Okay.
So like right now, the weather's actually been very, very mild.
Yeah.
That I've been, leaving the house in like hoodie sweatshirt or long sleeve tee or something. It hasn't been really hot.
Perfect weather.
Yeah. I'm gonna hatch in some of this drop shadow underneath his fingers. thumb right under here.
I'm just going through and doing his boots. Now that the green is laid in.
Yeah.
I think the green's going to take another pass. I think I'll go over it again once it's settled in, and just clean up some of the transitions of tone as I move through it.
That's looking real good.
That way, it'll give it that final pop, so it sort of marries nicely to the armor.
Yeah.
So.
Good. The rivets in place. Break the line up a little bit along the edge there for the light. Let's go up these. Let's feather out right here in the pelt.
Did you do the straps on his boots, Kenny?
Yeah, but what I did was, let me aim the camera down a bit. So what I did was I didn't detail them, I implied them. Right. So I kind of like worked around like the negative space in between the straps.
Right.
Right, because we still have. I mean, the boot is black, but we still have light pushing around those textures in the boot.
Right. Did you treat them as shiny rather than flat fur?
No, actually, I went with more of a matte.
Right.
Like a matted sort of texture, not so shiny, right, with the straps.
That's like polished.
Yeah. Indeed. We're coming together. Let's see here. Ink. I like doing my feathering kind of wild, so it won't necessarily like stay uniform all the way around.
Yeah.
Right. So we get a nice little puff there, and have it go in different directions.
I do like how you treated the shoes on yours. The creases look really good.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
I see people struggle with the shoes sometimes. I see some of that.
In my experiences, and just kind of like experimenting and kind of like problem solving on my own.
Yeah.
Right. I find that when it comes to pelted or like hairy feathered surface,
Yep.
it starts off with like a general shape.
Yeah.
Right. And like, say, for example, if it's like hair, right? It's the general shape of the hair, the way it sits on the subject's head, right? How it would frame the face, and then the textures. So, like, if it's like wavy or curly and so forth.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That it's very, very general, very smooth in the very beginning when you build that composition. Right. And then, framing the face is relatively easy, but then it's like now what is the texture you want to give that hair.
Right. Yeah.
So here, my inspiration for the texture is like mink or like a skunk or something, right? Something with short hair.
Mink or skunk. That's your two. That's your two go-tos, is it? Hey, hey, Melissa. So for Christmas this year, do you want a mink or a skunk?
Something Pepe Le Pew-ish.
Mink or skunk. Such extremes. So funny. So funny. Would you like a leopard? Would you like leopard pelt or chihuahua?
Yes, I now realize the folly of my words.
Back to Snape. Back to Snape again. That's right. No.
Now looking at this, I can actually get in there with some black.
Yeah. Well, we're heading towards the 3-hour mark today, Kenny.
Yep. Time flies.
Very, very, very quickly.
Yep.
So you're nearly finished?
For today. I mean, I'll wrap up all the rest. Well, the rest of the line work in our next session, because really it's just the whole left side of Man at Arms that would need to be rendered.
Yeah.
A lot of this isn't going to be fully lined because I still want to keep some of these highlights that I added with the white ink.
Yeah.
For that back glare, right?
Yes.
And just some small etchings in here, some scratches, some wear and tear in the armor.
Yes.
Details in his face, and we can put this one in the books.
I actually did a little sketch of Man at Arms' face during the week, and I did a bit of wear and tear on the arm.
I saw that sketch. That was good stuff.
A little bit of brown paperwork.
Yes, that was good stuff. Very impressive.
Thanks, man. That was a bit of fun, and just being able to do the armor damage and yes, nice.
And all the details that you threw into the helmet, that was great.
It's a funny helmet, especially when you look sideways. I always thought it was like a big bucket, but it's actually not. It curves up at the back. Yeah, it's really interesting.
That was
Chris Borman's joined us.
Hey, Chris. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, so I'll probably throw that up on the Etsy store at some point, I think.
Yeah, that piece
study.
Really, really well done.
So just had fun playing with the Magnum PI moustache.
Yes. Yes, the Magnum PI.
That's it. Have that Magnum PI theme song running in my head.
That's it. With the what was it? Was it a Ferrari? The little 80s Ferrari?
Yep.
And the Hawaiian shirt?
Yes, and Higgins, which always was
Higgins.
Weird. Weird.
Higgins with the soul patch.
Yes. The little Adolf moustache. Yeah, so he tried, but couldn't quite get the girth. The girth of the moustache. The celic girth.
No, that was Tom Selleck's eyebrows and stash. That's like legendary.
It is. It
That's
should be
facial
like,
hair of legend.
it should be in the Smithsonian one day.
100%.
Yeah. Like the Smoking the Bandit hat.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little more of this black.
Woodwork teacher moustache. Yes, Yvette, exactly. Yes. metal shop man at arms.
Indeed. Out. Here we go. That feels a little better.
Still a bit of noodling. Now that my belt's dry, I can go in and put another little layer in there.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same with the underwear. So when the underwear is dry, I'll go in and put in some reflected light highlights on the fur.
Yeah.
To give it a bit of depth. Underwear with depth. That's what we do.
You need underwear with depth.
You do. It's got to feel dense. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Sad if it were shallow underwear.
Underwear. Be like Walmart underwear.
There you go.
You know, rip on the first adventure. That's a sad walk home, isn't it, from a battle? Winning or losing, but you got to hold your underwear up with one hand as you're walking.
Holding the hole closed.
That's right. The strategic pinch.
The pinch, yes.
The strategic pinch of the fabric.
Strategic pinch. Yes.
So that's a slow walk home to explain that, isn't it? Like, listen, I won, but I kind of lost.
Yeah.
Because last swing, everyone saw everything. It was
every victory has its price.
I can't go out again tonight, honey. I've got to do a bit of sewing because we
either
went
that,
for
or,
this.
either that, or I've got to kill another mink or skunk.
I've got to kill all my friends that saw it, so I have to start again. We have to move again. We have to pull the kids out of school, and we have to move again.
I'm sorry. I know that I said it wouldn't happen again, but
But we keep buying the 7-pack of shallow undies from Walmart, and this is what happens.
This mink and or skunk is proven to be very unreliable.
and or skunk. I'm not even sure anymore. What am I going to start again?
Anymore. This
So
mink and or skunk.
There we go.
Damn.
Just when you thought it doesn't get crazy, now we have full narrative adventures where he's talking to his wife after ripping his underwear, and now they're going to move the kids out of school.
That's it.
Yeah. To maybe like where Hordak lives, because that's the only place left we can go to.
And we've deduced more or less the animal from Eternia that the cult derived from.
Which really only ever came about because of our heavy involvement in our research purpose.
Yes.
That, we were able to come up with a solution.
A mink
And or skunk.
And or skunk. Not bear or something cool, but a mink or skunk. You know, not even anything like fantasy based, like,
No, something.
you know, an Eternian Exila or something. But no, it's just mink or skunk.
Yes.
Accepted.
And or, because it could be a combination.
Yes, leaving options open for a David Attenborough documentary. The mink and or skunk.
And or
Skunk. Easily adapts to the Eternian wastelands.
yeah.
Hunted to extinction because of their overuse of underwear.
Hunted down to extinction to create pelted undergarments.
Pelted 7-pack undergarments readily available
At your local.
for all warriors.
Yes. Of all terrain.
Of all terrain. Yes.
Of all terrain.
Because Stratos isn't wearing feathers on his undies.
Yes.
And Buzzoff hasn't got something that's woven from bees. Like, they're all wearing the feathered undies. Although, didn't we say Merman had like a coral based sort of underwear?
It yeah.
Yeah,
Still
remember?
looks furry though. Still looks furry.
It looks like a furry, like an otter.
Yeah. True. Well, yes. You know what? That makes more sense, right? Like an otter, because
So the water beads off.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
It beads off the surface of my crotchal region.
Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen.
That's all right. The 3-hour mark, we've lost our minds.
When you buy the 7-pack, what do you do for the other 5 months?
That's too much math for me, man.
You use the remainders as ShamWow. Like pelted ShamWow.
Well, I mean, Man at Arms has got his little armor protected so he doesn't get chafing under his arms.
There you go. That's true.
He's backed up. He's thought, I'm going to double this up because this is working well for me.
Or you make some boots with the fur.
Yeah. Okay. I've got enough for boots and I've got enough for armpit protection.
Bam.
Smashed. Maybe a second set of undies in case.
Yes.
In case there's like catching on a vehicle, like jumping off one of the battering rams and oops.
Yes.
Not again, He-Man.
We must protect the twig and berries, the cash and prizes.
That's it. Don't look, Taylor, Man at Arms done it again.
The bait and tackle must be
yes
protected at all costs.
Well, it's important. I mean, that becomes your Achilles heel. If the training wheels are exposed, that becomes your Achilles tendon. Don't expose the training wheels.
Oh man. Oh, this line has to come out straight. I tell you.
I'm gonna get sued by Mattel. I can just see it. Or Filmation.
Or at least a very stern letter.
Yeah, cease and desist.
A very stern letter.
For making fun of our underwear on our characters. And J.K. Rowling for our serious Snape impersonations. Mr. Kenny Coppertone, please start wearing the wig. In every iteration of your classrooms. Thank you. Kind regards, J.K.
Yes. Yes. Kenny Coppertone.
All right, I'm going to call it for today, I think,
Yeah.
because I need to let that settle.
Yeah.
At the 3-hour 11 mark. And pretty happy with the progress there. I sort of flew ahead a little bit more. There wasn't so much shoulder pad noodling.
No, you should be. That's looking great.
So
The way that light source is bouncing upward like that, that's fantastic.
There's a bit more to do. I'm going to add a bit more white and yellow in there, I think, to just really make it feel hot there. And then I'm just going to do a reapplication over some of this area here in the middle just to get rid of the streakiness. Right. So that it fits in with what's happening up here as well. So a little bit more to go. But I will endeavour to try and touch it during the weekdays. And maybe even if I get that leg armour done. And then I'm really just working on Duncan's face and the mace.
Very nice.
Face and the mace. How about you?
Face and the mace.
Face and the mace. So what have you got to do for next time, Ken? I love that smoke in the background, man. The way you washed it in over the orange.
Thank you. Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun.
It's given some nice purple effects to it, which looks cool.
Yeah, down here I threw a little bit of purple in the termination line there.
Nice. Very nice.
So what I'm doing now is just kind of throwing in some dents in the armor, so we get that little sense of wear and tear. Just for the details, and for the very next stream, it'll be finishing off this leg, dropping in the details in the mace and in the remaining arm and his face, and we should be good.
Excellent. And in the meantime, check out the links that we put in the comments. So check out Kenny's online comic.
Yes.
And support John Jay, good guy. I think we need all the support in the world as we move into entrepreneurial stuff. Check out Kenny and myself. We are both on all the socials. And our Etsy stores are live, even though I haven't updated it in a week or so. So I haven't got some characters up there, but there are products up there to buy. And Kenny, you are always doing that. I notice your stuff's always updating.
Yes, sir.
And, please like, subscribe, and click notify on the YouTubes. That always helps us at our end. So thanks everyone for joining us this week. And please join us next week for the same adventures as we complete Man at Arms, and we may even get to sketching out the beginning parts of our Skeletor.
Yeah, actually, I would be interested in fielding some questions from you guys, the audience, as to how to compose a Skeletor.
I agree. I think that would be a great one, and we can base it upon one of the suggestions. That would be cool. Yeah. All right. Have a good week, everyone. Have a good week, Kenny, my friend. And we will see you all next time on the stream.
Indeed.